Alright, hello, welcome back to another Flutter app tutorial. Today I'll be going over the two things that I have been working on. So, if you will, I have shopping list app 1, which has some vocab that I want to go over first and foremost. Um, well, I'll go over what it's all about first. So Flutter app Shopping App 1 is a Flutter app that allows you to make and track a grocery list which you will need to buy for what type of stuff you'll need to buy. The main things that we did in this app was mostly review, so it wasn't like we did an insane amount. But for reference, here is what we worked on over the span of our app. It was section 11 and section 12. All right, moving on. I'll go through a bit of what we did. So for starters, we had form. So if I go and search for that, I will have it right here. So form. What form is a it allows use of anything within the form field. So this is the form keyword, which allows for use of stuff like text form field, which creates a text space that's used inside of the form class. This text field has a bit more features, such as a validator, which allows you to be able to check if things work or not. Like, basically check, hey, is this between 1 or 50 characters when you go and run it? So that was the first one that we worked on. Now, given that, we have our second half that we did, which was section 12. In this case, what we worked on was setting up a backend. This is where most of the stuff that we actually did came out of. So, some stuff that you'll need to know before we start this is the Flutter apps without backend have all their storage locally stored, and in the case that the app is lost or the device needs to be replaced, all the storage made for that app will be completely lost. However, with a front end or with a back end, you are storing in the cloud instead, which allows all the bad stuff from not having a back end to not be a problem anymore, as well as the ability to share data with other users. With backend servers, we can store data in a central and remote place, as well as allowing app users all around the world to be able to interact with the data. So I'll give you a little bit of a quick rundown on what the app looks like right here. So we have this, we can delete it. We can also go in and add a item which would say check maybe, and it'll be back here. That's pretty normal. Within this section, I will show you how to set it up with Firebase, which with Shopping List App 2 is what I named it. You can store your data inside of this area, or well, you store it inside of this link right here instead of just so more stuff to go over is some quick vocabulary. What is a backend server? Some servers, it's basically just a server that runs somewhere on the internet. It's not a specific place. It is just hey, this runs here. So yeah, it allows you to be able to interact with it despite not having it on your own thing. You also have HTTP, which is a standard protocol that allows for communication between front end and back end. I couldn't really tell you what the acronym stands for, but as far as that goes, I do know that much. So now that we're looking at our app real quick, I will show you how it kind of looks. So inside of this, when it loads, you have this link which you basically place all throughout your code. Given that I am in Shopping App 2, you will look over and see it everywhere in your code when making a URL. And when you push stuff over to there, then you get these little things, which if you look there, that corresponds to that right there. So allowing us to also do this allows us to get rid of what was in there. Very useful, and just kind of the core of what we're looking at today. So some more stuff. What does HTTP work like? So first, the front end sends an HTTP request to the backend, and then the backend does what it is designed to do, then sends a response back to the front end, giving it what it has. So basically what it looks like is this. You will send something over to the backend, and then the backend will receive it right there, and then it'll send it back so you can see it like that. So things that the HTTP request contains is a URL, a method type, headers, and a body, whereas the response only contains a header and a body. All right, now looking into functionality. So as far as front-end functionality goes, let's check over at back-end functionality first. So over here, we have our Firebase. This is a real-time database, which stores and syncs data from your project in real time. It's basically the storage that you send everything to. So along with this, we have our front end, which has this important keyword right here, which is an import as. So an as tells Flutter that whatever is added in the import should be bundled with whatever you declared after. In this case, our package HTTP import is as an HTTP, which allows us to be able to use stuff later. As well as this, we have our HTTP dot, which allows for use of anything in the HTTP package, as well as URI, which creates an HTTPS based on what you give it. We also have a JSON, which allows for the use of things such as encode or decode. So in this case, we have encode, decode, which encode puts data in a way for Firebase to store. So it's its way of saying, hey, we're going to send it here in this specific way that Firebase likes to see. Whereas decode sends it back, and it allows Dart to use it again. Given that, we also have our circular project indicator, which is right here. As you can see, if I reload the app real quick, when it loads, you will see that turning indicator, which is made by this, the circular project progress indicator, which adds a throbber, also known as a loading symbol, to your screen. You also have dot status code, which sends you back the status of whatever you are working on. So in this case, we use it a lot for failed stuff. So let's say that I change this to .org, and then I reload that. Then when I reload this, it should spit out failed to fetch data, and that's because of the status code right here. So if I change that back to COM, it will load up like normal. We also have our .delete, which sends a thing to Firebase, which tells it, hey, we need to delete this data, and deletes an item from Firebase so that we can do stuff like this and get rid of it. As well as that, we made use of try-catch statements, which try-catch is a way of checking for failures that even you might not have expected. So if it'll try to run your code first, but if it catches something, it'll throw out an error state that you set. As well as this, I don't have these in here anymore, but it will destroy during the tutorial, it wrecked my code, so I couldn't really get anything working as well as I do right now. But you have Future Builder, which creates a widget that interacts with things such as in the future class, as well as connection state, which checks the connection, and connection state.waiting, which we used instead of what we used for the throbber earlier. And instead of this, we used the connection state.waiting, and it replaced it well enough. And that was all the stuff that we went over during the tutorial. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you guys have a good night. See ya.